Welcome YouTube. Today we're going to be doing some Roboquest review. Why haven't you played this? I actually have played this. Quite a lot, actually. I am a big fan of this game. I have not beat it yet, though. I haven't had the time to play it much. But I have played it a lot, and it is very fun. I know it's kind of contradictory, but I played it a lot when I barely got it. I started getting the hang of it, understanding it, getting the upgrades a little bit. I only got like halfway through the upgrades, but then I stopped because I just didn't have the time, you know? But that being said, I don't really care about spoilers, so without further ado, let's just get into this one, you know? Let's see what things he likes about the game that I will be looking forward to playing later down the line, you know? So, without further ado, let's get right to this one.
They don't eat food, or at least they would if they had today's fantastic sponsor, different kinds of low-calorie and free. Well, much for sponsoring this video, and let's talk about robots and a quest involving them.
Yes. Roboquest.
Think fast, chuckle nuts. I know you people pretty well, I'd say. I've been making content for almost a decade now, and I think I've grown to understand my audience.
Maybe.
Korea.
No!
There's also a million of you now.
No way you called the Japanese flag Korea! No! My boy! Please don't. Yeah, hi YouTube. You can say hi YouTube.
So let me explain to you why I think this video game is everything you've ever wanted.
It's fun.
Roboquest is a combination of Borderlands aesthetic and weaponry, modern Doom gameplay, and the Risk of Rain loop.
Yep.
I've sold you. You've
that's
already purchased the game.
Yeah, I have.
After saying that sentence, how could you not? You need
True.
more convincing? Is the overwhelmingly positive review score not enough for you? Do you not trust me? Well, fine then. I guess we'll have to talk about everything amazing in Roboquest. I guess I'll have to make the video. Look at what you've done. That's it. Come here. Roboquest is a first-person shooter roguelike released on November 7th, 2023 in its 1.0 state by developer Rise Up Studios, published by Starbreeze. It is, as I've described earlier in the video, a combination of Borderlands, Risk of Rain 2, and Doom. The game is relatively simple and extremely light.
God, just watching this makes me want to play it. I might play it, chat. Chat, would you guys be down watching me play a Roboquest stream? Like, I definitely want to play the duo feature one day, but even the solo is still fun. But yeah, I definitely want to play it.
You play as a robot, teaming up with a young gal to save humanity against the evil AI Iris. There really isn't a story in Roboquest. There are fun little data logs here and there, but for the most part, it's just a nice little background, a little bit of filler information for a cute and violent time. Like most roguelite style games, it's all about failing and trying again, slowly leveling yourself up more and more with time. Roboquest is split into 4 acts with a boss at the end of each.
The revolvers feel so good to shoot. The guns feel great. The guns feel great.
Path, you kill enemies and do your best not to get killed yourself. Gather various types of loop upgrades and move through the level one by one until, of course, your untimely death or you beat the final boss.
Hey, want to hear my impression of you in about 3 seconds?
12 seconds later.
And in that case, you go back to the beginning to try it again in a different manner and most likely a harder difficulty. For starters, Roboquest plays just buttery smooth. The game feels just like the modern Doom games you're so familiar with. If you compare the two of them side by side, the similarities are obvious. And it's not the type of similarity where it feels like a cheap copy. No, this game feels as good.
They took what worked for it and implemented here to work with the gameplay perfectly, to feel like a perfect gameplay loop while you're having fun killing everything, while the health system is similar to like it's not that great, but it's good enough to keep you going, and it keeps you having fun no matter what.
as Doom, which is praise I can rarely ever say. Doom does feel a little bit better because it's made by a massive AAA studio, but just the general movement of the game, firing of the weapons, dodging enemy attacks, and killing enemies outright all feels good. And it's difficult to truly express the magnitude of smoothness that this game just feels like. On the smooth scale between sandpaper and the League of Legends players' brains, we've somehow gone past Yasuo main. It is that smooth. We hit 1 million subs. I had to make a League of Legends joke. It is all of your general hallmarks too when it comes to gameplay. Like in Roboquest, you can carry 2 weapons at a time. Now, these weapons do need to be reloaded in a traditional manner. However, swapping your weapons will have the one stowed slowly reload as you use your primary. So while the guns do reload in the normal way, if you constantly swap between the 2 of them, you will have never-ending uptime because there is no overall ammo reserve.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Magazine size. However,
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I pick up a gun, I usually just stick to one gun. I usually just do. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong on my part, but I usually just stick to one weapon.
Are some really fun perk upgrades that only allow you to have one weapon, but massively supercharges it and leans more into your class. Basically, what I'm saying here is that if you want to be the constant weapon swapping, always firing guy from Doom, that's an option. But if you,
I mean, honestly, that is great, and I love that just because I play so much Ultra Kill, so I'm so used to having to do that because I go for the perfect scores on those games a lot. So I could see how, should I do that? I don't know. Maybe I have been playing it wrong. Maybe I should rotate my weapons a lot because I've been sticking to just one gun usually, and it usually works out fine.
Also want to do something a bit more traditional, utilizing your abilities and simply one really strong weapon.
I use the spear guy here.
Also an option. Strong weapons you are going to need because the entire arsenal of enemy robots coming at you can be dealt with in a lot of ways, but can kill you in many more. Enemies are pretty unique and varied, coming in all kinds of various styles, sizes, and anger levels. The game starts with the simple, cute little bots. The small bot, the field bot, the mine bot. Look at them. It's so small. They're cute. You also have some bigger bots.
You can also jump on their heads.
Variant, scout pawn, laser pawn, jet pawn, also fun and simple to deal with. But then things get a bit more advanced, and you have the light fly, the Gatling pod, the shield fly, the Goliath cruiser, and Goliath worm. They're getting more advanced and bigger. But like in all roguelike games, there will be an enemy that you just despise. In Roboquest, as you're moving through level to level, taking down bots, pawns, and flies, getting XP and collecting scrap, you'll eventually just run into one of these.
They're not that bad.
The flash fly absolutely demolishes your screen. The electro fly will shock you and stun you still. And the sniper pod, when it has a bead on you, will basically not miss its shot. And we don't even need to begin talking about the hacking units in this game. Oh God! Oh God! The only enemy that I love is this cute little guy on the railing.
Yes, a little health bar.
You get a absolute shitload of experience and health. If you see the funny railing guy, kill him quickly before he runs away. Then, of course, as you progress, you'll run into elite enemies. These look like average bots, but with the fancy color scheme and even fancier weapons. Melee, sniper, artillery. One of them also has a flash ability too. That's right, this shit comes in deluxe. Now, in the beginning of the game, you start off in a camp and load into a game on one of the difficulties. In each of the safe rooms between encounters, you get some help from your friends. The repair bot will heal you up, as well as a chest full of weapons that you can use. But eventually, as you go through, you'll fight enemy upon enemy until you are inevitably killed. But one of Roboquest's great strength, oh my God.
You could speak.
One of Roboquest's greatest strengths, it's Jesus, that sentence, is how quickly you hop right back into the fray. But during your encounters, you may have gathered
Datalogs.
You know, enjoy yourself, friend, for not even a plumber has the chance to lay this much pipe. You'll need a steady supply of wrenches for it. These wrenches are used to upgrade your path in the typical roguelite fashion.
Yeah.
Simple upgrades like health and survivability are present, but the more interesting ones is adding brand new robots to your safe rooms, such as Smithing Joe, Bazaar Bob, and Chef Paul. These let you purchase new passive upgrades, get specially curated guns, and upgrade your weapons, including the ability to re-roll the affinities on them, which segues us right off a cliff like the inventor of the Segway did into your weapons. There are a lot of them. Maybe not necessarily in overall individual types, even though there are 73 options, but really it's what helps them stand out, and that's their affinities. Remember Borderlands? Borderlands 1, that is, not the out-of-touch
We're not talking about that
villains or Kevin Hart as Roland. You know, Roland, the serious character. But remember the selling point of the first game? Insane gun variations. You want a fully automatic grenade launcher that burns people with acid? You got it. You want a shotgun that fires flaming bullets that also explode? Why not? Roboquest has the same. For each weapon variety, going from the usual gray to orange, it will have an additional attribute stapled onto it. Now, these affixes come in 3 different types: base, green, blue, and
I wonder if he's gonna talk about the parkour movement and all that, because the movement and dodging here is pretty good. You know, well, not the dodge, but it's like, you know, wait, is that a regular thing, or is that the class I was playing? I don't remember, because I was playing the one with the harpoon thing you throw, lance, right? So I might be just wrong here, but the movement feels great, especially the railings where you could just skid off the railings. Perfect.
All weapons have a base affixment, but the number of blue and green ones are based on the weapon's rarity. Base affixes are whatever is common for the weapon. If it's a fire-based gun, the base affix is that it fires fire. If it's a Tesla gun, it fires shock damage and gets recalled every 3 months. But green affixes are more fun things like increased fire rate, damage, impact, reload speed, magazine size, magazine speed, magazine vibe, and horoscope. These then move to your blue affixes, which are similar to green but also include elemental damage. Your Tesla gun might naturally fire shock, but what if your regular double-barreled shotgun wants to fire fire? Or cryo? What if your shotgun had a chance of firing twice? Or a chance of firing a shotgun blast in addition to your shotgun blast?
You're right.
Or if your heavy machine gun that ramps up to insane fire rates also has increased fire rates. Then
yeah, that's the one I rocked.
Which can be anything from a shield to a rocket to a melee attack to that funny electric ball from Unreal Tournament 2004. So with all of this, you can look at a gray gun and be relatively disappointed with the stat line. But then you look at the incredibly rare legendary weapons that I have in my entire playtime seen under 5 times and realize that if JC had this, the Romans wouldn't have stood a chance. And if you think I'm even close to done,
JC,
then you must have really bad eyes because the runtime is right down there at the bottom.
Yeah, true.
Idiot. Most roguelites have a fun thing where you might try and try again, but then maybe you just make the perfect build and end up blowing through the game at an insane pace. And on that note, let's talk about classes. There are 6 classes in the game and none are geometry.
I'm a Twitch streamer. They should be teaching me how to hide my profits from the IRS.
Well, they don't function too differently from one another. They do adjust a few aspects, such as your special ability, secondary ability, and passive. The initial class, Guardian, goes invulnerable when you activate their ability, and their secondary is a simple watch your tone bash. You also have a passive, which gives you increased impact. That makes enemies easier to stun with sustained fire, and increased magazine size. Simple stuff, simple green. But you level up in the game during your runs. And maybe you get the upgrade that gives you unlimited ammo when your shield is up. Then perhaps you get an upgrade that makes it so that when your shield is up and you kill an enemy, you regen 6% of that shield. Then perhaps, maybe, just possibly, when you have 0 scratch damage, it's kind of like the Bloodborne rally thing. You have increased fire rate and reload speed, which, when invulnerable from Bastion, while Bastion is active, active increases weapon damage by 30%, fire
Sounds
rate by 30%,
broken.
speed by 18%. That is one build. Or perhaps you play as the Ranger and you go for a crypto.
Yeah,
and
Ranger, that's the one.
Gives you 2% increased critical damage for each focus point you have, maxing out 16 focus points, therefore 32% crit damage. It does go away if you get hit, but it regenerates rather fast. And then you add critical damage ricochets off into other enemies that can be upgraded to ricocheting into 2 enemies. And then you get a gun with increased critical damage maybe, or maybe even just base critical chance on non-crit spots. Then critical damage has a 2% chance for each focus point to do 80% increased damage. But then you take the upgrade for 5 extra base focus points. And then you remember that it's never a war crime the first time. We haven't even gone to the commando that constantly ramps up fire rate and movement. The engineer that summons flying drones. The Genji ripoff. And also literal elemental magician. I cast lug nut leprosy. So when that's all said and done, you end up just rolling up to the first boss on the hardest possible difficulty and kill him like this.
I haven't gotten there yet. I have not gotten this luck yet.
From there, it's all about getting your build, enjoying the randomness of each run, but still having enough skill in your gameplay to really make it your own. Every time you beat the final boss on the hardest difficulty, you go to the next hardest, and when you beat that, you get to the next, and so on and so forth until you reach the final boss, which is the cold, painful realization that it is 3 a.m. and you have the morning shift at super conglomerate American company known as Guardian 4. So far, my best S rank on Guardian 4 is this time here. But I love testing myself, trying out new builds, and just keeping it going. This is one of those games where even though I've maxed out all of the progression for the most part, I still find a want to play it because the gameplay is that damn good. I have around 30 hours into this game, and while I did max out the wrench upgrades relatively quickly, there is still tons of collectibles to get that do affect gameplay, like making my weapons cheaper to upgrade, and other fun optional gadgets such as a grappling hook, jetpack, mega jump, and more. Oh, and if you haven't noticed yet, the soundtrack, it hits harder than your dad. If you like this kind of game,
it goes hard.
I have no idea why you haven't gotten it yet. It was in early access for a bit, but it released into 1.0 late last year, and still I've seen so little marketing for this phenomenal title.
It's great.
It even has co-op. You can bring a rogue buddy into this game and 2-player this bitch. My list of complaints are few. My only issues are that I think it's a bit feast or famine on the hardest difficulty. You die a bit too fast for my liking compared to the enemies, and there is a little bit of a take no damage the whole time or instantly die dynamic there. I also think the game could use a bit more variety in its second half. Each run is rather long, as you can see from my best time here. It's still around half an hour for the whole hog, but the second half doesn't have a unique pathway like the first half does. You're able to navigate different branching areas and go through different doors, but the second half is generally static. I think if they gave us a more dynamic second half, as well as maybe a few more bosses and a couple more classes in a future update or DLC, I will be extremely...
I love how his complaint isn't exactly that there's things wrong, is that, at least for some of it, right? It's that I want more. That I want more. This is great. Give me more. And that's a good complaint.
Happy. Also, if they mess around with some late game damage scaling. Hello, Future Bricky here. Turns out they released a dev blog back in February 26th. I write scripts pretty far in advance. This showed off a roadmap for 2024, including an update for January that we had already talked about in this video, or at least was already in when I started playing. There's a new update coming out in spring called the Arsenal update, which includes a ton of new weapons as well as a brand new
I didn't know that.
They actually show off some of these weapons as the little gifts in their dev blog, including a kind of rapier, a boomerang, a big charging Gauss rifle, and there's other stuff coming out too, including a very sleepy robot. So it appears they actually have a pretty good roadmap on their heels coming up, and I'm actually quite excited for what's coming out with the spring one. So that's good. It's always lovely when a game comes out of early access and the updates keep flowing through. Big thumbs up. Bricky approved. My title for this video is sincere. Roboquest is an amazing game worth the money and worth supporting. It will get you a minimum of 20 hours of rock solid gameplay. 40 hours if you really like the game, and some of you probably will die hard it for twice that amount. The title of this video, Roboquest review. Why haven't you played this yet? That wasn't me asking you why you weren't playing this game before getting to this point. It's asking you why you aren't now. Check it out. Genuinely, I'll put Steam link in the description. Not sponsored, make that clear. Never spoke to a single developer. Just really like this game. This is another Moonbreaker type thing. I just love this game. It's so much fun and you should give it a shot. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video. I want to show you something cool. The merchandise site has been massively updated with a totally new facelift. You can still go to orchidate.com or you can go to brickymerch.com for specifically merchandise that I sell, like this wonderful Crest tee, as well as many other things, including a body pillow. Yes, I sell that now.
No,
it's good.
no.
I'll talk more about the million subscribers thing. It's crazy,
have
don't get
that.
me wrong, but I promised you all Mass Effect trilogy, but I've also got a really busy March going to PAX over in Boston, and then I'm also filming other things to try to get up before I leave, so it's very busy, but we will do Mass Effect, I promise, probably when I get home, so maybe like around April. Okay, great stuff. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye. Kisses.
All right. That was Roboquest. Honestly, this is just an enjoyable review because this makes me want to play the game again. You know, once we finish our stuff today, I might play it today. Mass Effect was the GOAT. I've ever played Mass Effect. I'm sorry. I know I'm disappointing. I never played Mass Effect. I'm sorry. But yeah, I am excited to do this. I'm excited to play the game later. I'm probably going to play it later. It's made me really hyped for it, low-key. I'm not going to lie. So, I'll probably play it later. For now, that has been my reaction to Bricky's review of Roboquest. The absolutely great game. And I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.